What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this new album from Joyner called ADHD. Now, Joyner is a rapper from Massachusetts who first came onto my radar when he dropped that song Ross Capiccioni. Absolutely love that track, and to this day I still think it's his best song. You're getting vivid storytelling, the video's excellent, he flexed some nice flows, just everything about this track has always stood out to me. It's probably his best song in my opinion, although he has built up a catalog over the years, and he certainly knows how to go viral. What Joyner is known for is his conceptual tracks and his fast flows. We all know when he dropped that song, I'm Not Racist, everybody was talking about it. There even was a little bit of controversy with some of those ideas. And he's also had some pretty big guest appearances, like when he showed up on Eminem's Kamikaze album on the song Lucky You. This is a guy who's really built his fan base up over the years. He's especially loved by the spiritual, miracle, lyrical crowd. So I was naturally curious to hear how this album would sound because I did think his last project was okay. I wasn't absolutely in love with it, but it did have some of those moments that he was known for with the storytelling, the concepts, and things like that. But with this one right here, you get a really weird rollout because some of these songs have been out for a couple of years now. You've probably heard half of these songs before the album even came out, and you are going to get a very loose concept that has to do with Joyner's ADHD. You'll pick up on this on some of the skits. Some of them are a little bit cringy and poorly acted in my opinion, and there is a little bit of content in some of these songs that does break down his ADHD, and I will mention that as we go through the review. But before we get into some of my issues with this album, and there are quite a few, I want to talk about the positives because there were some moments on here that I thought were pretty dope. I thought the I Lied intro was quite introspective. On this one, he's rapping about how his lifestyle has changed him, and as a result, his relationships have kind of fallen apart. He said he was going to do all these things for people, but he lied. This one is a banger. Then you get the song Lotto. I really did think the string production on this was dope, so that was one of the better moments. And even the song Isis is pretty damn good, man. I think Logic actually had a really good feature on here. I know it seems weird for me to say that because I haven't liked a lot of Logic's music within the past couple of years, but I thought he actually brought some more life to this track. This is just a bar fest where they're both spitting those rapid fire flows, rapping about some of the stuff in their lifestyle and in the hip hop game in regards to beef and other issues like that. So there wasn't really anything overly distinct about all these tracks, but they certainly slap. They got bass that is bigger than Rachel Rax's titties, so you know damn well that that is big, and you're going to get those nice flows that you expect from both guys. So I thought these songs were pretty good. Didn't think they were amazing. They're not songs that I think I'll have in rotation for the rest of the year, but they were some of the standout moments, so there were some positives to break down. But the problem is that exact lack of distinction that I briefly touched on, how there wasn't anything with these songs that really sets Joyner apart from other people who are making these styles of music. So the thing I'm talking about is that there's not much in the way of originality, creativity, or signature moments that really set Joyner in a different tier or even a higher tier. I mean, when he first came out, like I said, he had these great concepts, those excellent flows, vivid storytelling. He's done that throughout the years, but it seems like with this album, he went in a completely opposite direction in an attempt to be the most generic rapper possible, man, the most generic rapper of all time, because what you're going to get on here is some pretty stale singing vocals from him. He is doing a lot of singing on here, and he's not doing any interesting vocals, harmonies, layers, or stacking. Not to say that I expected him to come through sounding like Peebo Bryson or some shit, but I thought the vocals on this were very flat, boring, lifeless, non-distinct. I've seen some people compare his vocals to other artists out there. Once in a while, you might think Ty Dolla $ign a little bit on some of these songs, not to that level, but I had someone mention that to me, and I did pick up on that a little bit. But unfortunately, man, most of these songs get very generic. I'm talking about songs like I Love, The War, and also Goldmine, where Joyner says that if a girl doesn't like him, then she must be gay. Just one of many cheesy lines that you will pick up throughout this album, including on the song Finally, where Joyner asks, "Oh, you opinionated? Who you think? You Joe Budden?" These songs are just very generic, man. Even the beats on these last couple of tracks I mentioned are generic. They don't stick out very much. Although I will say The War kind of was interesting because you do get this guitar-infused production, and Young Thug does have a decent feature. So that track was kind of interesting if you're into that specific style. But for most of this album, you're just getting a lot of genericism overall, man. It's not that I felt like this album was dumpster juice with used tampons and filled up condoms floating around in it. It wasn't that bad. It's just that I didn't really care as I was listening through this, man. I was waiting for him to give me some of that shit that really made me like him back in the first place, but I didn't get a whole lot of that here. So I am really curious to hear what Joyner fans are going to think, because it seems like a lot of people who like the more rapidy rap stuff, they're always saying, Oh, you don't like Joyner Lucas? You don't like Logic? You must like Young Thug. You must like trap artist. Whatever trap artist you want to throw out there, or auto crooner, or mumbler. And yet on this album, he's doing a lot of that same type of shit, man. Yes, he is rapping a little bit better in spots, of course. We all know that. I'm not going to take away from his flows and some of his rhyme schemes. They are decent. But just sonically, you are going to pick up on some pretty stale beats. And again, those singing vocals as well. Even Timbaland manages to come through with what might be his most boring beat of his career. That beat on 10 Bands I thought was absolutely dry. And even the single Will, it features the most generic trap flute production you could find anywhere, man. I will say I did like the concept on this a little bit though, because he is making a lot of references to Will Smith and various acting roles and shows, so the concept was there, and at times you do get some decent ideas on this album. I thought Devil's Work was pretty cool because Joyner is unloading with questions to God. He's asking why Malcolm X had to go, and yet we got all these people around that we don't want, like say Suge Knight, for example. He just does a lot of that type of stuff on there. Pretty cool, just questioning God's plans. And even on the title track ADHD, he is jumping deeper into his ADHD and how it's affected him over the years, how he's trying to deal with it. However, some of these problems are still present because ADHD, for example, is yet another track that has some pretty boring vocals, safe production, and that does take away a bit from the introspective content, in my opinion. So overall for me, man, I'm not going to say this was a disappointment because I didn't expect too much going into this one, but I think Joyner Lucas can make better music than this man. I've heard it from him in the past, so to me this is a 3.5 out of 10. I did feel like maybe I was going a bit low, but honestly I didn't like a lot of tracks here. You do get those glimmers of moments where Joyner Lucas, I think, is showing off some of those rap skills, bringing a little bit of content. But personally, I thought this album was just an absolute slog to make it through, man. You even get Fabulous popping up on Still Can't Love, continuing his streak of being one of the weakest features you can get in recent years, man. I used to fuck with Fabulous all the way, but I'm telling you, some of these features within the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years have not been good. We have got to get that Soul Tape Fabulous back. Please, can we get that? I don't need croony Fabulous or any of that type of shit anymore. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is that on the song Broke and Stupid, I did appreciate that Dear Summer flip. It's not really an interesting take on it. It is a little bit different as far as the drums go. It's an alright song, but nothing really to rant and rave about. But hey, take a little breath here, because I've ranted and raved about this album enough, and that's how I feel. So let me know how you feel down in the comments section about this one. Make sure you do that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.